Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 98 of the Custom Apparel Startups Podcast. My name is Mark Stevenson from ColDesi.
And this is Mark Vila from Coleman & Company. And I usually take a sip of a drink, I noticed in the beginning. It's kind of my thing. I need
it's your thing.
Get a palate, a comfortable
My
palate.
thing is that now I have an appropriately decorated CAS cup.
Yeah.
I make sure that it's always facing the camera.
Yeah, that's mine. It just happened to me now. I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying looking at it.
It's not the scratch on the A.
It is, partially.
Okay, could be the scratch.
Yes.
Could be the scratch. We're a little abusive. So what's this one about? This is number 3 in our series about you versus the competition.
Yep.
And this kind of blurs the line with the versus part.
Yeah, so we've been talking about beating the competition and researching them and what to do and if you need to change yourself, might be something you need to do to be able to beat them. But sometimes taking your competitors and turning them into your partners is actually one of the best things you could do.
It's a great move, and we asked this question on the Custom Apparel Startups Facebook group, which I was surprised today. We had a whole room full of 4 or 5 people getting trained on a DTG M2. None of them were on the CAS group.
Wow. Interesting.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
But one of them listened to the podcast.
It's because you turned off that email
That's
suggested
right.
people
That suggested you do that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, so after you listen to the past 2 episodes, and I think first you did go. If you haven't listened to them, I think it's important that you do.
I do too.
Some of the things that we're going to do here kind of require some of the knowledge that you're going to have in the previous 2.
And the exercises that you were supposed to do.
And the exercises you should do. One of the things you did is you researched your competition.
Yep.
And you found a few out there.
Yep.
A couple. The next episode, you kind of looked internal. And you realize, hey, I've got these couple competitors. I can do a few things better.
Yep.
And
do you need to add new products? Do you need to change in some way, or just do what you're already doing better?
Yeah. And so now you say, okay, now I'm putting my best foot forward to beat the competition. I know about my competition, and now's your opportunity where you can join with some of your competition because they're right they're in a perfect zone for becoming partners.
Yeah, so one of the things that you had talked about was, when you're doing your competitive research and you find these companies that are doing a good job, they're doing different things than you are, or they're doing it in a different niche market than you are. And you may occasionally bump up against each other, but it's not, you're not direct competitors. And that's the perfect kind of opportunity to start to work together to profit for you both.
Yeah, and you see an apparel shop, you visit them or you do some research, and you find out they've got 30 embroidery machines.
Yeah.
And they've maybe got a really old little transfer system, and that's it. But they really focus on embroidery, and you're kind of the opposite.
Yep.
You've got maybe just a single head embroidery machine, but you've got a direct-to-garment printer and a transfer system and all this. So you're t-shirt heavy, print heavy, and they're embroidery heavy. You reach out to them for why? Why would you want to reach out?
Why would you want to?
Yeah.
Because for a couple of reasons. The first thing you can do is you might have the opportunity to keep that customer in-house and outsource, right? So you could end up keeping the customer, still doing a 50 cap embroidery order in a short period of time, making a little bit of money, and you develop a good relationship with the vendor that you did business with, right? So you get to keep the customer. The other reason is you may have the opportunity to build goodwill with your competitor by referring that customer over, and they'll reciprocate at some point.
Yeah, and that's great. So some examples, we wrote down, also might be just what their offering is, what their vertical market is, their niche. So you sell spirit wear, and they focus on sports uniforms. So you might have a little bit of that overlap, but really you're selling to the same people. If you partner together and work together, then you can kind of get customers, whether they get a better deal or it's a better deal for you guys.
That's ideal if you do bling, like a lot of our customers do. They just do bling.
Yep.
And somebody comes in for the football uniforms, the person that you refer to, they're never going to get a Pro Spangle to do bling, and you're not going to set up a dye sub shop or something like that in order to do the sports uniforms. So it's kind of the perfect relationship.
Yeah. So you got to find whether it's the apparel decorating method, and some of these are just talking about kind of those like a little bit of contrasting competitors, where they're just different enough for you guys to partner together. And in some here, we can talk about partnering up with people who are just like you even. Some of these will apply to that too.
Right.
But we'll start with the easy ones, right? Or the ones that you almost never compete and you can work together. It's a very easy relationship to start.
Yeah.
You know, as easy as anything can be.
So some examples. Some examples. Some examples might be what we have, like a lot of the ColDesi customers. They have a direct-to-garment printer or digital heat effects system, which are great for full-color short runs. You know, but what happens when you get an order for 2,000 shirts, you know, of one color?
Yeah.
So what normally happens is somebody comes on the Facebook group and says, hey, I need some help in fulfilling this order. So there's a referral. There is that relationship that you're generating with somebody that could otherwise be a competitor, but now they're partners in this deal.
Yep. Yeah, and it's really great. It's so it's going to do a ton of things for you. Maybe we can we talk about why
go through them. Go through them. Why?
So we'll talk about why. We made a bunch of notes, and I forgot, and when I was writing things out, the most important one, which you pointed out, is to get more business.
More business.
So
that's why we do everything.
Yeah,
is to get more business.
So just like we said in the examples above, when you're kind of this reciprocal style of business where you don't compete against each other or hardly ever, and you refer people to each other, and if their customer is used to buying from you and they ask for something that they cannot provide, they're likely to trust their recommendation.
Yeah.
I give this company thousands of dollars every month and they can't do what I want. They said to go to your shop, they're going to do that.
Right.
They're not going to go on Google and look around. They're probably just going to take the word of the person they trust.
Yeah, so you're really getting that advantage of somebody else's relationship that's now been passed on to you.
Yeah, so get more business, build relationships with people to help get your own network of referral business, and that will just continue to grow. And we know from plenty of other podcast episodes that referral is one of the best for our industry.
Yeah, it is.
So, and some other reasons that are also great reasons.
They're also, other than just the money.
Yes, but the money is the issue.
Which is my top three.
Yes.
Is the money.
So the next one is it makes you look like a good company. It actually does make you a good company and a good person.
Yeah. And we have an example.
Okay.
Yeah, we have an example here, I think.
All right.
So that example is the ColDesi relationship with Belkett. So Belkett was actually a competitor to ColDesi. They sold DTG printers for years. They were a boutique shop. They produced a great product. We always had admiration for their printers. And at the ownership level, everybody knew each other. And they get together for lunch like once a month, you know, that kind of thing, to talk about the industry. So when there came an opportunity to work together more fully, that's how Belkett became a part of ColDesi. Because we already had a good relationship. We already had good feelings for each other. So it was just a natural fit. When they were ready to focus on R&D, we were there to help with that.
Yeah, and it really just goes to show that when you build goodwill with your competition, you're not sure, you don't know where that's going to last, where that's going to end up, I should say. So it also, it's very good for you out towards your customer, to your customer base. So if you're friendly with your competition, and somebody comes to you and says, oh yeah, I was looking to get these shirts at Marco's print shop down the road, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not sure. I also wanted to buy this from you. You go ahead and you turn around. Oh, I know Marco.
Yeah.
Great guy. Does what
they
you're
do great
asking,
work.
They do great work. And maybe even you're competing on this. Yeah, they do great. I do know that Marco doesn't have a digital garment printer, DTG printer, like I do.
Right.
And if you're looking for more colors and art, like this stuff on my wall here, I could do that better. Is that what you want?
So that's a great way to approach it, because you're not saying don't buy from them.
Yeah.
You're saying they do a great job, just like we do with the competitors to us.
Yeah.
Embroidery machines and DTG printers. There's a lot of good ones out there. Let me explain to you why mine's better.
Yep.
So the same thing.
And if he goes over to Marco's shop and says, oh yeah, I was over there, and I was thinking about doing this, what do you think? if you guys are friendly, he might just say, okay, well, what do you want? Do you want the single color shirt at a low price, or do you want the DTG that's going to cost you more but look better? And the Mark will be friendly about that, and more than like he'll try to get the business, but not bash you. Oh no, you don't want to buy from him.
That friendly competition is a big deal because it can really set the tone for your entire market.
Yeah.
You know, there are places that you go in different businesses where if you go in to get your car fixed or to buy a new car specifically, you know, the salesman will just go off on the shop down the street or this other car brand, and it's a big turnoff.
Yeah.
And that kind of builds a culture in the area that you're in.
Yeah, so it makes you a good person because you're doing these things. Your customers will notice and your competition will notice, and overall it has an overall positive effect on you and your business.
Yep.
Which leads right into the next one, which is that people outlast businesses.
Yeah.
Typically.
For the most part, you know, the people that you deal with that your competitors now, they may not always be in that business or in that shop. And you may not always be in the business and in that shop.
Yeah, well, and Belcat, perfect example, a great relationship from the ownership standpoint.
Yeah.
And when the time was right to work together, both businesses changed from a decade ago when they met.
Yep.
And it came to a point where a partnership and working together and all that was better. So you never know, like talking about Marco down the road, you never know what's going to happen with his business.
Yeah.
He might call you up and say, hey, I'm looking to retire, move to Cabo, on the beach.
Move to Cabo.
And I want to sell my business.
You might get
interested in taking all my equipment and my customers?
That's a good one.
You know, so maybe he's going to downsize, still partly retiring maybe, and says, "Hey, I've got a great, shop employee. I'm downsizing. It's just going to be me and my wife running it. Are you looking for somebody?" So you can get that type of referral business.
I mean, they could hand over entire accounts.
Or hand over an account, and just say, listen, if you take care of these folks, that's the best thing. I'm pulling out of the business a little bit.
Yep.
Or they might all of a sudden get some completely different. They might get a UV printing machine.
Right.
And all of a sudden, that sort of their business skyrockets. And they're backing off from apparel a little bit.
Yep.
And they just turn and say to you, hey, I've got this equipment. Do you want to buy this embroidery machine? I'll send you my embroidery customers. I'm doing great on this UV. These are all things that could happen.
Yeah, and have happened.
And have happened. Yeah. Or a piece of his equipment dies, and instead of buying more, he just decides to outsource to you.
Yeah, right.
These are all things.
It's a plus.
So the people are going to outlast the business, and it's going to give you an opportunity to make more money.
Yep,
really.
True.
The next one down is it puts the customer number one.
I really like that because it's going to reflect well on your business and on whoever you partner with. Because like in our group, when somebody asks for, hey, I need to get 54 of these done short term, can you help? Then, they're obviously like putting their customer first because they're going to give up some of their profit in order to fulfill the order properly, instead of just saying no or send them onto the internet to look for somebody random.
Yeah, exactly. If your customer really needs something, they want sometimes your customer asks you for something and they could buy something else. And you try to steer them towards that.
Right.
Buy this instead because I can do it and I can make more money on it. And that's what I specialize in, right?
Yep.
I mean, those are really the answers that you might not say, but that's what it is. But if your customer really legitimately needs something that you don't do, then you put them first and you say, listen, I'm not the right person to do that. I don't specialize in making football jerseys.
Yep.
I probably could, but I'm not even sure what could happen. I don't specialize in that.
Right.
So-and-so does. We've got a good relationship. I would love that business.
Heck, I mean, we do that for customers all the time. We'll get somebody that calls ColDesi and says, I've got a business and I really need to do 1,000 shirts a day.
Yeah.
Says, well, I mean, we're not the people to talk to.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So go ahead and talk to one of these people. They do a great job. So we would do the same thing.
Yeah. So
I like that a lot.
It goes back to making the relationship. These three ideas right here: people outlast the business, and it makes you a good person and a good company, and putting customers number one. It's all about the relationship building, and we know relationships and referrals and everything are so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. competition becomes a friendly challenge versus a war.
Yeah.
And that's just always nice. You don't. Again, you just said the car industry, bad mouthing people.
Yeah. You really don't want to steal somebody else's customer. You know, you want to offer somebody all the benefits that you can, so they will choose you. But that's different.
Yeah, you don't want your competition to be so heavy and hateful that they're leaving bad reviews on your Facebook page.
That can happen.
Yeah,
that can happen.
just to get at you, that they purposefully go after your accounts and undercut them. And that type of business is just, it's not comfortable. It doesn't make you happy to go to work.
Be nice. Hey, and listen, I just want to say, because we did have somebody on the Facebook group survey say that they'd been abused badly.
Yeah.
In a circumstance like this, where they partnered with a company on some jobs and they end up losing their customers, some of their customers to them. That can definitely happen.
Sure.
The important thing is that you don't respond in the negative way that we were just describing.
Yeah.
If you are the classy one, it will still hurt, and you're not going to say great things about this guy, but you could say, we did some business years ago. I don't do that anymore. I partner with this person now. Here's why.
Yes, and I'll say this with the example that our good friend left on the Facebook group. If you do anything with people enough times, you're going to run into the biggest jerks, the most friendly people, the biggest pushovers, the most aggressive people, the nicest. You're going to run into all of that, because that's what dealing with humans is.
I think I'm all of those things. I think I'm all of those
You
things.
have customers, you're going to have the jerk customer, the friendly customer, the one who refers you a ton of business, the one that you never talk to, they give you the money and they walk away.
Those are the best ones.
You're going to run into all of it. So if two things, if you've had a bad experience partnering with somebody, you found the jerk first.
Right. You got that out of the way.
You got that out of the way.
It's very unlikely you'll find him again.
Yeah, and if you do a lot of this, you will find another jerk.
Yeah.
So it's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game, and it's unfortunate when you run into that. So,
but like our estimation is the gain from developing these partnerships far outweighs the potential loss from getting it back.
Do you have any proof on that? It's actually the last point in this section.
No, I don't.
You do.
I don't. No, you do. You do.
But you don't want to be left out.
Yeah.
Because when we surveyed, what was the percentage of people?
80%.
80% of people in our industry do this.
Yeah.
So the fact that 80% of people are doing it means that it does work, and most of them are not the jerk.
Yep.
And if you're the only one not doing it, then when all the business is being shared and partnered and referred and outsourced, you're sitting alone by yourself, not getting that opportunity.
What's that game where the music plays and everybody tries to sit down?
Musical chairs?
Musical chairs. It's like musical chairs. You do not want to be the one without a seat. So if you are in a town and you don't have partnerships yet, try to find one.
Yeah.
Because if everybody else partners up and you don't have a big embroiderer to go to for large orders, or a screen printer, if you're a big company, you don't have that small go-to person, because your competitors do.
Yep. And you've got the opportunity now, or you don't have the opportunity to work with people. You're working against everybody.
Right.
And then the odds of success.
So let's give some examples of different ways that they could work with each other.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is we've already talked about these. Refer business when it should be referred, and the obvious ones. If somebody comes in for a trophy and you sell T-shirts, don't try to outsource that, right? It just doesn't make any sense. If it's a one-time deal, if they want laser engraving, if they want something you don't do and you will never do, you don't already have a relationship, then refer it to somebody who does.
Yeah.
Find somebody that you can send that customer to.
And this is your opportunity also when you're doing this, referring business when it should be referred. This is your opportunity to look for an opportunity. Should I maybe think about doing the wholesale.
Absolutely.
Stuff. You start thinking about these things. So and it gives you insight into the business when you're friendly with somebody who does this.
But here's a good opportunity if something like that's a good example. You run a T-shirt shop, you do promotions and logo stuff, and somebody might just assume that you do trophies and plaques. If they come in and you don't already have a relationship with somebody, maybe there's somebody that you've heard of. While the customer is there, if they're in person, just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And call Chuck's Trophies down the street and say, "Hey Chuck, this is Bob at Bob's Custom T-Shirts, standing in front of one of my potential customers that needs awards. Are you available?
Yeah.
I want to send them down."
Yeah,
right.
That's beautiful.
How are they going to feel about you? Right? They're going to look for opportunities to, oh, you know what? I had somebody that was interested in T-shirts. I should have sent them to you.
Yeah, and then your customer is gonna be like, "Wow,
they think you're awesome.
You are awesome." I felt like I was gonna.
You're like the Santa on Miracle on 34th Street, sending people to where they can get the toys.
Oh yeah, Macy's down the road.
Yeah,
They've got them in stock. What else you can do together? You can outsource together. We used this example a couple times already in here.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So your customer wants something. They want a bunch of different things. They want hats and shirts and sweaters and awards.
Yep.
And you've been building this relationship with an award company. So you quote it all. You say, "I get all of them done." The awards don't get done here. It'll take me an extra couple days, but they'll come in real soon. But I'll get you a great deal. And then you've got a relationship with this other business who makes awards, and maybe they give them to you at 20% off.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You charge retail. You charge the same retail that they would, and you're making 20%.
Yep.
So you've got a little outsource thing going on.
And the idea here is that you make a little bit of money, but more importantly, you maintain a proprietary relationship, right? If you've got somebody that comes to you for tons of stuff, to add something small is not a big deal. Now, if they want something completely different, they want a new car, or something like that, then maybe you don't outsource that because you can't maintain that kind of business. But if you have the opportunity to get with somebody in advance, like we've got contractdtg.com.
Yeah.
Mike Boletnikoff, he was on the podcast. He just does contract direct garment printing. So which means, as an example, if I've got a DTG business and somebody comes in for a regular order that's going to be month after month, or maybe it's a little bit too big, or they want it labeled and packaged in a specific way, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call Mark, and I'm going to arrange for him to drop ship, which is a great kind of outsourcing relationship to develop.
And that also, the outsource one works really well where you've got concerns that you don't want to send a big customer to that competition.
Yeah.
Especially if they do a lot of the same that you do. So the outsourcing gives you that opportunity, and there's a 100 different ways you could do that contract type of work. There's get it produced and drop shipped, just get it delivered to you. You could do some of these things where the profit is very, very small, but the rest of the business you get is worth it to keep them in-house. There's a lot of different ways you could do that.
I really like this next one because I hadn't thought about it.
All right.
When you mentioned partnering up at events. I think that's brilliant. Why don't you walk us through that?
Okay, so there's a local event happening, and maybe there's like a barbecue festival or something like that. Beer and barbecue festival.
Sure.
And you start looking and investigating, and you realize that there isn't any vendors kind of in your space. There's plenty of people selling food and drinks, but there's nobody selling apparel. So you say, great idea. And so you do T-shirt printing, and you think of a bunch of ideas, with pigs and beer and all that stuff like that on it. And then there's a bling shop down the road that you've kind of got some that you've discussed with before, maybe you've referred business to, and they just do rhinestone apparel and things like that. So you partner together, you get one big booth,
split the cost of the booth.
Split the cost, and so you can make it a bigger event. Maybe instead of a little tiny table, you get a tent. And you've got a T-shirt printer out there and a bling machine, and you're selling to two different customers together.
But since you have a bigger presence and a wider variety of things, you're going to get generally more traffic into the booth.
You're not just the tiny cheap table. You're the big one. Yeah.
Most importantly, you'll be able to go take a bathroom break and leave somebody in the booth. I mean, that's a big deal. Especially at a beer festival.
And when you work together, then you capture your own leads in your own way. If there's a shared list. Maybe you've got an email sign up. You know,
Yep.
you share that list together, and you work together. And you also agree ahead of time. Listen, I'm not going to bring any of my glitter heat transfer vinyl stuff because I want you to get the bling stuff.
Yep.
And but you don't bring any of this stuff because I'm going to focus on that.
Yep.
And you guys
I like
focus
that a
on
lot.
your own thing, and you.
And
build
it could be
relationships
anything.
together.
You know, if you're in the cheer business, maybe there's somebody that sells pom-poms and uniforms, and you sell customization and bling T-shirts. If your martial arts is your market, then maybe you sell martial arts fan shirts, and somebody else embroiders gis and belts. You know, whatever that, or sells equipment. Whatever that combination is, I think it's a great idea because events can be really good for a custom apparel vendor. So being able to partner up, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and it can be when you start splitting the costs on this stuff.
Yeah.
It goes down a lot.
Yeah.
Because you figure you get one sign printed with
Yep.
both your logos on it, which costs probably almost the same amount as just getting your sign with just your logo
Save money
on
there,
it.
yeah.
So there's a ton of things you could do, and like you mentioned, the bathroom and lunch break and all
Yeah.
that stuff is great. And you know that you've got somebody who's like it's not just an employee working it. You know, it's the other
Somebody
another
like
owner,
you.
somebody who's super invested in this.
So also I dig this economy of scale thing you said where you might actually share ordering blanks.
Yeah, or anything really. You know, some of these things that we order, you save a lot of money when you order in bulk.
Yeah.
And if you can work with somebody that you say you guys carry the same hat in stock,
Yeah.
you always carry it in black, both of you carry it. You go ahead and you say every month, how many do you order a month? I order 300. Yeah, I order 300. Well, the discounts at 800. If we can kind of put this together,
Yeah.
we can get.
I
we
love
can get
that.
400 and save money. We get
Save a
more
buck
for
a
our
hat or
blanks.
$2 a
yeah.
hat.
And yeah, it's really great to be able to do this. It can be tricky, but if you find the right person and the right business, and you guys really hone in on
Yeah.
everything you buy, it might not just be blanks. It could be anything.
Yeah,
anything within your
it could be.
business.
What I really like about that is too that we're always getting requests on the group on, hey, is anybody buy Richardson caps wholesale or Under Armour wholesale?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the other person or you have a relatively exclusive or hard to get dealership for a particular product. So if your partner company is looking for a specific kind of hoodie that Alpha Broder doesn't carry, but Sanmar does, you have a Sanmar account, you can help them out, and vice versa. So you're getting kind of a group effect on sourcing too.
Yeah, and most everybody that you're going to buy from probably is not going to prefer that you do this, that you take advantage of.
Yeah, we don't care about that. We don't care. None of those people listen to the podcast.
But it really is a good idea, and this this is not just blanks and apparel and stuff like that. It could be copy paper,
Post-it notes.
Post-it notes. I mean, it could be things that you go to like Costco and Sam's Clubs for. That you both kind of have some employees, and you buy coffee at the local grocery store and different things like that, and cups and stuff to keep in. Well, hey, why don't we go to Costco? We'll split the bill.
Yeah.
And we'll both buy those things. So there's a lot of.
And then you
things
end up
can do.
rooming together, and it gets a little uncomfortable when you wake up.
You get a really long Ethernet cable, and you plug your computer in.
You start stealing cable. All right, so I think that's enough of that. I like also the idea of entering a new market together, although I think this is actually a little bit trickier.
Yeah, sure.
So if you, for example, if you both identify that there's a big new business coming into town, like a restaurant chain is just coming into town, or a manufacturer is moving in, and you don't feel like your business is big enough or you have a wide enough selection to go after them, you can partner up with another company to go do that.
Yeah, and you don't. It can be tricky. You want to be creative and protective of your business at the same time while going after this. One thing you could do is you could, say it's a big business coming into town.
Yeah.
You research them. You know they do bling and they do uniforms. You do uniforms. Your potential partner does bling.
Yep.
You go, you meet with them. Listen, we work together all the time. When you're going to order bling, go here. When you go to order uniforms,
These are our
go
specialties,
here.
yeah.
This is how we do it. We partner together so we can help you out. If I'm coming to visit you to help size up some employees, I'll share the size. We'll share the sizes together to make sure everyone's set up. There's a lot of things you can do like that.
I really like that idea, as long as you're careful.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we said, make sure you know the people that you're working with. There's less overlap than more, and you stay in communication.
And this is everything that we have to do here. You are working with another business. You're working with competition. You're working with another human. So you want to be careful about who you're working with. Don't trust them enough, but not too
Damn
much.
humans.
Yes.
All right. So how do you get started doing this?
Okay. Well, the first thing you do is you make the first move.
Yeah.
It's just like if you if you're dating when you're young and you're dating and you see the person that you'd like to go to the drive-in movie with.
Sure.
Maybe go to the malt shop.
Mark Vila is using archaic examples specifically for me.
But you make the first move. You say hello. So you visit their store. Hey, and introduce yourself. And you introduce yourself with really good intentions when you're doing this. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I run this shop. I see you do this. We're both in the same business. I want us to have a friendly business relationship.
Yep.
I know we're competition,
but
maybe one day we can do something.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know me.
I wanted you to know me, and I wanted you to know I'm coming at you, like with a hand to shake.
Yeah. I really think that it's important that you've done that competitive analysis first here.
Yes.
So because these are people that you've already identified, you know what they do. It's not like you're wandering into a shop going, hey, I do small volume, full color t-shirts. What do you do? And you're leaning on their direct-to-garment purchase.
Yeah.
That's really not a good play.
Yeah, it's true. And so what are some things you do during this relationship? For one, just like you would do in the dating scene when you're trying to get somebody to go, to a dance with you.
Yes.
You compliment them.
Okay, I like that.
You compliment their shop, though, their business.
Yeah.
Hey, I found you online, and when I searched you on Google, 4.7 stars, 40 reviews.
Yeah, congratulations.
Awesome.
That's great.
So that means
I
you're
wanna
doing
be
a
like
good job.
you.
And the shop in here is beautiful.
Yeah.
Who did your floors? I'm thinking about redoing mine. I mean, you could just compliment them. It's gonna makes people feel good to be complimented.
Yeah.
And if it's genuine and real, they're gonna appreciate
no
it
fake
and know.
compliments. If they do crappy embroidery, do not compliment the quality of their embroidery.
Because they know it sucks.
Yeah, they know it's bad. But you can find something to open up the conversation.
Yeah. So let them know that you would have intentions of working together on something.
Yeah.
I think that's important to plant that seed.
I like this to be really specific. So for example, let's say that you just bought a Digital Heat FX 8432 and a heat press, and you're setting up to do your custom t-shirt business. And you've listened to 91 of our podcasts.
Okay.
And you realize that as soon as you start talking to people about custom t-shirts, they're going to ask you about embroidery and embroidered caps. So you can say, listen, I just set up a really small custom t-shirt business in town, and I know I'm going to have people come ask about embroidery from me. I'm looking for a great person to send them to.
Yeah.
And
you can find out. They might turn around and say, yeah, I offer wholesale.
Yeah.
I've done that in the past. I would do it again. They might say, yeah, I get t-shirt all the time.
Absolutely.
They might even say, I've done the wholesale thing. I want to steer clear of it, but a referral business?
Yeah.
I would love to, back and forth. That would be great. You should have your strengths ready to share, and because you've researched them ahead of time, you kind of know their weaknesses. So you're going to play on strengths that you know are their weaknesses. So immediately they are excited to hear this.
Yeah.
It becomes like serendipitous where it's like, I know I don't have that equipment.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came by.
So a good example, if you're in the printing business and you see another t-shirt shop or a screen printing shop, and in big red letters right on the front and in the bottom of every email it says 48-piece minimum.
Yeah.
You know what their weakness is. They're sick of telling people no. Right? So what you're going to do is you're going to walk in and say, man, I love your website. I love everything about what you guys do. I see that you discourage small orders. I'm in the small order business, so let's talk about how we might be able to work that out.
Yeah. And 100% when this happens, when you make the first move, just like when you were dating, somebody is going to say no. They're going to, somebody might be a jerk. Somebody, I don't really.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
That's going to happen.
I'm having a flashback. You're going to have to give me a minute.
It's fine. It's going to more than likely they're going to be cool. The first person might be the jerk. If you do
Yeah.
it to 20, you're definitely going to run into somebody who's rude
we've
about it.
done the math.
Yeah.
97.5% of the people that we deal with
Yeah.
Coleman and Company and ColDesi are awesome.
Yeah, very cool people.
2.5%, we could send them cash in the mail and they would complain about it.
Yes, 100%.
So you may run into one of those people, no problem. Just pick up your card where you dropped it and move on.
Yeah, and remember that 80% of the people do this now.
Yeah,
that we've
yeah,
surveyed, right?
successfully.
So successfully do this. So if you go to 10 places, the chances are 8 of them are going to be open to this idea. And it's not going to happen immediately with this stuff either. You're planting seeds at this point in time. It's very similar to selling. If you're going and introducing yourself to local businesses and saying, hey, I do t-shirts, if you need anything, call me up, you're probably not going to get, oh yeah, I need some right now. This isn't going to happen with this either. You're looking to build a relationship. Really what you're hunting for is, you're not hunting for them to say yes to you and immediately want to do stuff with you. You're hunting for the perfect partners. So this is for you too.
It's a good way to put it.
When you meet them, if they're really warm, friendly, open to it, they do a good job, all the research points to yes, then that's who you're looking for.
Right.
If you walk in and somebody says yes right away and you notice that they seem like they're kind of in shambles, maybe you're not going to accept the yes.
Right. I like that.
Right?
I feel like you said yes enough that I'm going to download the Magic 8-Ball app. Yes, signs are promising.
Signs are. It's decidedly so. Doubtful.
Doubtful.
So, attending events is another way to do this.
Yeah, we actually do that when we go to trade shows. If we see somebody in another booth that's selling something cool or interesting, might fit into a niche that we're not in, we'll go up and introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
We do these things. I love what you're doing. Why don't you give me the tour and maybe we can work together?
Yep, and you go to, if there's like a little farmer's market thing, you go down there and you see that there's a shop that sells custom-made bags, and it looks interesting. You're going to this event just to meet them.
Yeah.
So you have some business cards with you. Hey, I do this. More competition, maybe not, but I'm looking to,
I've
maybe
gotten both customers and partners doing just that.
So you actually said this before, but after you've done the first step and you've got somebody to refer to because you've done the research, hopefully you've already met them, refer them business in a crazy, super obvious way.
Right.
Like you said, you call them up. Call them. They're there. You get them on the phone.
Yeah.
Make sure they know who you are. Remember, we met. We met at that barbecue event,
right.
When I was there.
Remember how I said that I was going to send you business?
Yeah, that's actually great too.
And it's the same thing with email. So you get an email request for a product, you don't sell it. So maybe you do a joint email reply and say, hey Joe, I just want to introduce my customer Mary to you. She's looking for something I don't handle. I thought you would be great.
Yeah.
And there's no way they're not going to appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's a big plus.
The jerk will appreciate nothing. Right. Because you could literally just send them the cash.
Yeah. They'll be like,
they would be
thanks,
mad.
Send me all your customers.
Yeah. So, but
they're
yeah.
in Jersey.
It probably. And then after you do this, after you refer them to business, I always think it's important to follow up with them to find out kind of how it went.
Yeah. Was that a good customer for me to send over?
Yeah, say, hey, I sent somebody. How'd that go for you? Did that work out? I referred some business to a friend of mine. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. Then I sent him a Facebook message. We're Facebook friends. I sent him a Facebook message like 5 days later. Hey, did that work out? Right. Yes, I did the job. Super nice lady. We're going to do some more jobs together. Thanks so much.
Right.
And
was that a massage?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a handyman, actually.
It's a handyman.
I think I've actually given an example about that before.
Sure.
But yeah, it's great. And then also if they say, oh, no, that did not work out. Oh, okay, all right. I want to refer you to the right business. What wasn't right about it?
I like that.
They only wanted 10. I have a minimum of 48.
Right.
I know now. Next one's coming.
Make it a note.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you can also, in this conversation, you share struggles with them and why you're looking to partner up. So an example is like a big, huge business closed down in your city, and they were buying lots of custom apparel. All the shops kind of suffered from this. So you go there, and you go, listen, business is slower for me. It's slower for someone else. It's probably a little slower for you. I'm looking to shake hands, meet, and hopefully we can work on something together.
To boost it back
to
up.
help boost business and get some more,
Yeah.
whatever it might be. And then that's where all the other things come into play, whether you outsource or refer to each other or go to events or whatever it might be.
It was a great, I was listening to a podcast on my way to work this morning.
Okay.
It was about pay-per-click advertising. And these two guys that run the podcast are Google Ads consultants, and they were talking about exactly the same thing.
Oh, okay.
They were talking about somebody that they knew vaguely that was in the business, in the same town, who lost their job at an ad agency because one of the big companies closed down.
Oh, okay.
That they were servicing, and it was like, okay, what can we do together? And both of them ended up with good business from it because they talked about each one of their strengths, and they were able to kind of like exchange ideas and clients and move forward. So it's a plus.
I think this stuff is great. They're definitely not going to be all wins.
Yeah.
And this is just like selling in a way where you're probably going to have to talk to 5 different places.
Yep.
To get one, and the relationships are going to come and go.
Yep.
They might send you a ton of referral business in the first 6 months, and it weans off
Yep.
for whatever reason. Maybe they're going after a different niche market, and that niche market really doesn't have the need for what you sell.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to refer. So it's gonna change. The relationships are gonna develop, and you're gonna find those ones that really last, and you're gonna tally up a lot of orders, a lot of money, and you're gonna better, and you're gonna learn a lot.
Yeah,
too.
and even if it's not an extra $100,000 a month,
Yeah.
Still you're going to have a relationship with competitors. You're going to have a chance to talk to new customers. You're going to be able to talk about the industry and strategize. It's so much better if you can develop these kind of referral relationships, whether it's in your neighborhood or not. You're going to be better as a person.
Yeah.
And your business is going to be better and stronger because there's more variety there.
Yeah, and you know what? It reminds me of something. So when I was a young man,
Right.
I sold auto parts for many years.
That was like 2016.
and I sold auto parts for many years, and I had become friends through a relationship through a guy who worked at a different brand of auto parts store.
Mm-hmm.
So, and really because we'd sometimes call, hey, do you have this in stock? I got somebody who needs
that's a
it.
great example,
because
yeah.
we're trying to take care of the customer. This guy's car's broken down. Oh my gosh, where am I going to get
He's
this?
in my parking lot.
Let me call up. I'll call up my friend. And another thing that we would do is we would also give each other like warnings about stuff. Hey,
Okay.
by the way, want to let you know, there 2 of our stores have been hit already. There's people coming with, they look like this, and they've got stolen credit cards.
Gotcha.
And they're buying expensive
Good one.
parts.
Yeah.
Watch out if you see them.
Yep.
Just be careful. I don't
Yep.
want you guys to lose the money.
That's
3 of
good.
our stores have already lost, $1,000 worth of stuff.
Yep.
You can have different things like that. Hey, just to let you know, I heard from so-and-so that this restaurant's going to be closing down.
Yeah.
We both do business with them, giving you kind of fair warning.
Yeah,
So,
or there's a customer who skipped out on paying for a T-shirt order. It would be amazing if they could literally not order T-shirts anywhere else in town.
yeah,
That would be
or if
great.
they come to you, be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Get cash up front.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So,
I think this is a good
yeah.
idea. I really like episode 98. Turn competition into partners.
yes, and the more you do it, the better you'll get at it.
Yeah.
Which is another great thing. So keep it going. What's next? We've got. Are we going to do another beat the competition after this one?
I think we're on the edge with the
Okay.
topic.
Okay.
We were debating whether or not to do an episode on destroying the competition.
Physically.
Physically destroying,
Yeah.
attacking the competition with tactics and everything. We'll see. If not, I'm sure there'll be something fascinating and educational and entertaining coming.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Well, thanks so much, Mark.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Vila. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. This has been Mark Stevenson from ColDesi.
And Mark Vila from Coleman and Company.
You guys have a great business partnering with your competition.
There you go.
Okay.